Hey everyone, welcome back to Collecting Nolan. This is Russ, and you did it. It's crazy. Yesterday I announced that if I get over 100 subscribers, I'd have a giveaway, and today I found out that we eclipsed 100. We're actually up to 105 as I look at it now. So we will definitely be doing a show to discuss what the giveaway will be. That isn't today though. But today we're going to look at some of the highest selling Nolan Ryan cards on eBay right now. So let's go ahead and get started. And before I get started, I just want to talk about a card here that sold recently on eBay. So I just want to show it now and talk about it. So this is the 1971 Topps number 513 Nolan Ryan base card. And it recently sold on eBay for $800. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this card. I'm just saying for this card, you have to be very careful because these cards are very subject to often trimming and often subject to colorization. So for these kinds of cards, especially if you're going to pay this kind of money, I would want to look at this in person and maybe just, buy a graded version. That way, it's at least for me, it would add a little bit more of a, how can I say, I guess more confidence that what you have is actually like a very high-end 1971 card. And again, I'm not saying this one is not, but this is like just one of those scenarios where if I'm buying it for this amount of money, I'm going to look under it with great scrutiny, just to make sure that everything seems legit. But even then, I still probably wouldn't buy this card unless it was graded. That being said, it is a pretty good looking card. So, I just wanted to raise your guys' awareness of this card because just looking at this, it looks pretty well centered, and it doesn't appear to have any chipping or anything like that. So this card, it's probably going to be at least a 7, and if not higher. So you're looking at a high value card. But say if you were to buy this card and send it into PSA, and then it comes back as a 5 or a 6. You lost a lot of money because a card at that value you're looking at like $200 versus $1,100 card or so. So just wanted to bring up this point, and let me know what you guys think about it. Let's get started with the top 10. Number 10 is the 2024 Topps Black and White Auto Full Color 1 of 1, number 108, and a PSA 10 that sold for $845. This is one of my favorite sales of the week. I know it has a sticker auto, but this card really pops. The colors on this card are just so vibrant. If you watch my most recent mail video, I showed the black and white version of this card, minus the autograph, of course. I'm definitely jealous of whoever picked this one up. It's just a one-of-a-kind card and just really awesome. Number 9 is the 2021 Topps Triple Threads Deca Relic Auto Booklet that sold for $1,250. Autographs in this booklet included Steve Carlton, Bob Gibson, Bert Blyleven, Nolan Ryan, Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Tom Glavine, and John Smoltz. These are some of the greatest pitchers spanning from the 60s to the early 2000s. Plus, the Nolan is a bat relic, and it states that it's a game-used bat. This is card number 3 out of a possible 10, so it's also pretty rare. This will not be the last booklet on this week's list. Number 8 is the 1969 Topps number 533 Nolan Ryan base card in a BVG8 that sold for $1,350. I couldn't find any history of BVG8s of this card being sold. However, PSA 8 graded copies of this card have sold for between $1,709.34 on December 11th, 2024, and $2,105 on December 29th, 2024. So what would you guys do? Would you keep this card in the BVG case? Or would you crack it and send it to PSA and hope for at least an 8? Or would you just send it to PSA with a minimum grade request? I think you can do that, but I'm not entirely sure how that works. If it's my card, I would probably just keep it as is, or not buy it, or just, Number 7 is the 1991 Topps Tiffany number 1 and a PSA 10 Gem Mint that sold for $1,410. This is the first time this card has been on the eBay Top Nolan Ryan card list, for my show anyway. The 1991 Topps Nolan is a classic card from my childhood, and since it is the number 1 card in the set, it is more difficult to get in this type of condition. Now remember, Tiffany cards were only distributed in sets to Topps distributors. They are characterized by their better stock and often shinier gloss. To me, this price seems rather high for a 1991 Tiffany and a PSA 10, although I could not find any other sales of a 1991 PSA 10. Prior year Tiffany Nolan Ryan cards have sold for $190.50, and that was the 1990 Topps number 1 Tiffany, and $230.50 for the 1988 Topps Tiffany number 250 Nolan Ryan base card. This price is close to those seen in the Desert Shield Nolan Ryan cards. Of note, a PSA 6 1991 Topps Tiffany sold for just $34.95 earlier this month. Number 6 is the 1991 Upper Deck Baseball Heroes Nolan Ryan Auto and a dual PSA graded 9 mint for the card and 9 for the auto that sold for $1,500. There are 23 copies of this card in a similar grade and only one higher. This autograph card is a frequent flyer on the eBay list, and as everyone knows, one of my favorites. Number 5 is the 2024 Topps Triple Threads Deca Pictures Auto Relic Combo Booklet that sold for $1,800. This booklet has 10 autographs from some of the best pitchers in modern history. Other than Nolan, there are autographs from Roger Clemens, Greg Maddux, Randy Johnson, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Pedro Martinez, Andy Pettitte, Felix Hernandez, and Clayton Kershaw. Only 10 booklets of this type have been made. Guess what? There's still another booklet to come. Number 4 is the 1974 Topps number 20 Nolan Ryan base card and a PSA 9 that sold for $1,837.25. This is one of my favorite vintage Nolan Ryan cards, as it captures him in mid-delivery, getting ready to blow one right past you. There are 234 PSA 9s of this card out there, with only 7 grade higher. There have been 2 other recent sales of a PSA 9 of this card. The first happened on November 17th, 2024 for $1,802, and the last one happened 3 days later on November 20th, 2024 for $1,525. Of note, a PSA 8 of this card sold for $189.30 in November of 2024, and a PSA 8.5 sold for $450 this past week. Number 3 is the Topps Triple Threads Deca Pictures Auto Relic Combo Booklet from, again, 2024 that sold for $2,100. This is technically a different card than the other booklets, so I felt compelled to include it. Besides Nolan, other autos on this card include Pedro Martinez, Steve Carlton, Fergie Jenkins, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, Jim Palmer, Bert Blyleven, Roger Clemens, and Randy Johnson. What do you guys think of these booklets? Do you love them? Do you hate them? I think they would be cool to have, but really hard to display. Number 2 is the 1968 Topps number 177 Jerry Koosman and Nolan Ryan rookie card in an SGC near mint to mint 8 that sold for $2,650. There are several things wrong with this listing. First, it's a PSA flip, not an SGC flip. Second, it's a PSA 8 with an off-center qualifier. There are 757 PSA 8s with an off-center qualifier out there, and 202 cards that are rated higher. PSA 8s of this card sell for over $8,000. However, in my experience with an OC qualifier, that is usually a -2 in grade, making this closer to a PSA 6. A PSA 8 off-center version of this card sold for $2,800 earlier this month. A true SGC 8 version of this card has sold for between $6,500 and close to $7,000 in October and in December of 2024. And finally, number 1 is the 1970 Topps number 712 Nolan Ryan base card and a PSA 8 8.5 that sold for $2,802.99. There are only 34 PSA 8.5s of this card and only 167 cards graded higher. No recent sales of a PSA 8.5 could be found. The only sale I could find was from February 2021, where one sold for $2,099. A PSA 8 version of this card sold earlier this month for $1,100. That does it for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.